through their bodies. When we talked to our sound artists, he started to make a landscape, which then put together all the context in a very spatial, grand way that was very different from the depth of a scientific landscape. And having the opportunity to put them all together in one, the installation at ITU, and two, at Deep Space, I think is a big testament to how diverse subjects can, one, input new directions, but also really come together to converge and become this like a new discipline. Yeah. So one thing that we talked a little bit about interdisciplinarity is the fact that every discipline kind of arises from the need to have created a new form of knowledge and exploration. So every discipline has its own forms of interdisciplinary within it as well, which is fun.
Great. Awesome. Great answer. Thank you so much. So the next questions go to the Streams in the Veins team. So I think your project maybe embodies not only interdisciplinary collaboration very well, but also international collaboration very well. I mean, all of you come from different disciplines and also different countries. My question comes in twofold. So the first question, like, how does the project contribute to the future of interdisciplinary research, and also maybe on the relationships that are formed between human nature and technology, kind of this. So let me start with this question for you.
So as I was the one who was implementing the AI model, I would like to reply to the answer from the aspects of the like acoustic results of my sounds. So ever since such generative model came out, it was more focused on how to replicate better. But in such context of like the context of surrender that I was referring to, let's imagine about the sounds of actual streams or such like sounds that people like to hear from ASMR or from the fireplace. So there are always a subtle variation in those sounds, and we wouldn't want to play it like go back to the timeline, and there is no highlight in such sounds. It is the subtle variation that makes these sounds beautiful and somehow eternally beautiful. And I think Sayan talked about the new forms of education and new forms of knowledge creation. And I believe these new novelty comes from this subtle collision and somehow convergence also happening subtly. So we were doing this international collaboration, like 4 of us comes from 4 different countries, and we were able to assemble all our modules, like when we first came to Linz. And it was a hell of a collision of communication, and also the way of explaining our understanding on our own project was difficult. Not only because not because our research question was so vague, but it was more of our different approach and what we had been learning through from our entire, to form our entire expertise. Like every approach was just different. And then maybe you can feel from the performance later on, and that is somehow the result of how we did on creating a new type of concept from combining these such through our interdisciplinary approach.
Awesome. Yeah. Great. I think that already relates a little bit to the second question that I had, because the second question that I think would be very interesting to have all your inputs on are, indeed, what were some of the challenges that you faced, and how did you overcome them? So I think that you already gave some input, but I think that's also nice to have then Kaito and Chi's input there. Great, perfect. I think then we're gonna move on to Pim-Niao's. But yeah, the first thing that I noticed when I looked at the slide that you used is just this giant list of collaborators that you use, and also in your project description and the reflection, you talk a lot about working together with all of these different academics and all of these different fields. So in that sense, your project also really embodied this interdisciplinary approach. So how how did that materialize in your project, or how did you navigate that?
Yeah, because I mean, essentially, this is also across discipline of human-computer interaction and dream science, and also psychology. So it's really a blend of disciplines in this project, um, and I think in terms of materialization of this collaboration, it was really the dream and nightmare lab in Montreal. And then in the summer, I got a chance to visit Montreal, and I was just like, hey, can I stop by your lab and then see what you guys are doing in the nightmare lab? And they say, for sure, stop by. So that's the very first conversation I start to have with these stream scientists, and they have been using neural sensors in the lab to look at what's really going on in people's brain when they're dreaming. And they also have this shared common interest in art as well. And I think that's really the very first click that I feel like this is the people that I want to work with. And then the project that we presented here at ITU and Founding Lab is about this reliving your dream experience. And in dream science, we have this term called dream work, which means that after your dream, you're trying to deeply engage with the meaning of the dream, and then maybe you can develop the new understanding about yourself or your waking life problems. And that's really the angle that we get into, and then see how maybe technology can help us to develop new insights about ourselves. And then that's how the whole collaboration with these dream scientists come into fruits. Yeah, I hope
Great.
that would answer your
That
question.
is awesome. Thank you. So I think that's where we're going to end it for today. So this is basically the first 45 minutes, 40 minutes of your panel, which means that there will be another like 10 minutes. Likely, we have to see a little bit how it goes. If it's because there's some more general questions that, for example, can be asked by the moderators. Maybe the audience has some questions. Maybe you have questions for each other. But basically, this is where the live stream will be cut, because for the final upload, we will not have the Q&A at the very end sort of be part of it. Just so you're aware of that. Yeah, so depending on like, let's say it is 40 minutes, because it will be like 45 minutes, then there will be like maybe more general questions as well. But then there will be a part at the very end, because also through the live stream, hopefully some of the fellows from the previous chapters will be watching and maybe have questions. But it was just too much of a hassle for us to figure out how to make that live interaction happen with potentially like another screen. So therefore we decided we're just going to save ourselves some effort and like cut that and make that a part separate from what will be on the recording. So tomorrow, please be present like 15 minutes before your panel starts so we can do one final run through of the slides. And other than that, I think everyone is tired and wants to chill out. So thank you so much for your run through. See you all tomorrow. Thank you. Kirsten, thank you so much. That was nice. Oh, nice. Oh, I'm tired. Fertig. Ja.
An aircraft from the movie Dune.
einen Lautsprecher mehr haben. Wohl, ich finde schon. Aber ich habe ihn nicht gehört, weil ich höre dann ja sowieso nicht. Dann hören nur alle anderen, die da vorne sitzen. Weil wenn ich hinter der Mauer bin, dann kriege ich das gerne mit. Wenn ich hinter der Mauer will, der vordere war nicht gesteckt wahrscheinlich, oder? Jo, 1, 2, 3. Ciao.